Tonight, let's get Coach Avolio over here. Gotcha.
Yeah. How we doing?
Coach Avolio, good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for coming out today.
You got it. Do you work at the middle school too?
I do. I've been down there since 2000.
2000.
Coach basketball down there.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Good stuff.
Came there from Rockingham County via Pennsylvania outside of Pittsburgh and Beaver Falls. Joe Namath's hometown.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, you got all those great football men coming
Absolutely.
out there.
The hotbed for quarterbacks in Western Pennsylvania. Yeah, a lot of good ones. My mother actually graduated 2 years ahead of Joe Namath at Beaver Falls High School. Yeah.
A lot of football tradition up there.
Huge football tradition. My high school program is pretty solid. Our basketball program is, a lot of people are familiar with Archie Miller played at NC State.
Yeah, little Archie,
Yeah, he's coaching at Dayton now. And
absolutely.
Sean is at Arizona.
Yeah.
His dad.
The dad was the main coach.
And, Coach Miller, Coach John Miller was our high school basketball coach.
He was your coach.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He's had a sister that Lisa that played at Elon for a couple of years. She transferred from Akron.
Interesting. Wow.
Yep.
It's almost like playing for Bob Hurley almost.
Yeah, exactly.
The Miller's dad.
Exactly. Yeah, Coach Miller was fantastic. He runs a lot of youth camps back home in Beaver County, and does a really good job.
How does basketball exist in that big football country? It sounds like you guys have had success up there.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, we always joke sometimes it was something to do in the winter.
Yeah.
I mean, the big joke in Western Pennsylvania is if you ever wanted to rob a house, you did it on a Friday night in the fall because everybody was at football games. I mean, it's a huge ordeal. We've actually had a couple of high schools consolidate some of the very small schools into some big 3A schools that have been very, very successful.
So the competition's getting better then.
Yes, exactly.
You look at your role now. Talk about your role at Northeast now.
I teach at the middle school, and then I had an opportunity. I have a 4-year-old, so I took some time off, and I've been coaching down at the middle school with Coach Murphy. He was down there, and he's been there forever as well. And this year I moved up. Coach Lipper gave me the opportunity to come back up and coach linebackers. I was on Coach Pursley's staff for about 4 or 5 years, paid, but pretty much every Thursday and Friday night since about 2000. And I had responsibility a couple of years ago. I coached inside linebackers and outside linebackers. When Coach Goss came back, I moved out to the outside and had an opportunity to coach the McCanns, both inside and
love those kids.
Great kids.
Boy, Jacob McCann would take you down in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. He's funny. I mean, I still say one of the funniest things, we have these dummies that sit on the field, and every dummy had 38 on them. And Jacob laid down one night and said, "Coach, look, I'm one of the dummies." I said, "You're far from being a dummy." I said, "He's a heck of a linebacker," and both of them do a really, really good job. But then I moved to outside with trying to think who else. It was the last thing I coached before I took the time off for the middle school. So
how long are you gone?
2 years. 2 years. Yeah. Went down there with Coach Murphy. I had the time that it took. With the first year, my wife was pregnant for a couple of years, and then my son was born, and it was tough getting home on it. See him in the morning and then get home at night. He was sleeping. It was kind of tough. So now he's a huge football fan, diehard Steeler fan like the rest of the family, and he loves watching pro football. Big fan.
And yourself as a coach, kind of describe your approach as a coach. Are you a screamer, yeller, hard, all that?
I used to be a lot more excited. I'm not saying that I'm not excited now. I think I've mellowed out. Part of that was, I remember the first Friday night I coached with Coach Pursley, I got a 15-yard penalty because one of my defensive backs, Cameron Parker, picked off a pass and went down the sideline and took it to the house. And I was chasing him down the sidelines. I was so excited. And the referee threw a flag and said it was 15-yard penalty for the coaches being out of the box.
Out of the box, yeah.
And I was paranoid Coach Pursley was going to kill me because they were going to take 6 points off the board. But luckily he just flagged it after the fact. We had to kick a very long extra point that
night. I gotcha.
So it worked out pretty well. So I try to calm down a little bit. I still get, when it comes Friday night and the lights kick on, I get a little bit more excited. And now I think sometimes I try to keep a little even keel, and then when it happens, I like to get excited. Right now, I tell Coach Lippard the 7-on-7s are a lot of fun. It's a lot of stuff going on. It's nice to know football's getting started, but I hate seeing my linebackers backpedal. I want them getting up in the hole and plugged in the hole and being there to stop the run. That's why I tell them, I says, we're run stoppers, not pass droppers. You know, we like to get up there and play physical. Part of that is when I grew up in Pennsylvania, it's you want to be physical. I'm all about being physical. I like the finesse.
That's the run part against the pass part.
Exactly.
Until the end of the day, when you're passing the ball, there's a 50% chance that ball is going to be dropped. You run that ball, you hand it off, 100% chance he's going to be running that ball to us.
We're just hoping they fumble it. We're hoping for that takeaway.
Now, do you guys go after a lot of chop, trying to knock that ball loose? Do you teach a lot of that?
I'm going to. I did prior on the previous staff. We did a lot of turnover circuits. Feeling Coach Lippard's going to want the ball any way he can get it.
Yeah.
Whether if it takes a couple 5-minute periods for us to work on takeaway drills, I think we're going to do that. We went down and listened to the Carolina Clinic. They had like a coach's rodeo down at Richard Childress' place in Concord, and I really enjoyed listening to the guys, one of the coaches speaking. I can't remember exactly who it was, but he was talking about turnovers, and he said, I don't like to use the word turnover, I like to use the word takeaway. And I said, the more I think about that, I like that much better, because a turnover, they can fumble it and still get it back. That takeaway, we get the ball and give the offense a chance to do something with it.
You get it and keep it, exactly.
So it's very beneficial to me. It's from that defensive side of the ball.
So get the interceptions and also get the knock the ball loose and recover your own
Absolutely. We want to try to get it in the end zone as quick as we can.
Are you guys aggressive, you think? I mean, you can't be there's so much during these 7-on-7s, but you see a pretty aggressive bunch coming in?
I think so. I really do. I think our linebacking core right now with Godek and Justin Hartsfield and Tobias right now, and some of the guys that are real hungry playing in the wings, I think we're going to be ready to play. I told them, I said, I'm going to be standing behind them once we get hitting here, because I don't want to see them backpedal at all. I don't want to see any foul steps. I said, if I have to, I'll line up dummies behind them so they're not doing that foul step. I said, because now it's time to play football and play forward.
Do guys like Jacob McCann, some of those guys still come back and visit you guys?
I run into him every now and then.
Okay.
It was great. It was great to see McCann. I took my son to a baseball game over at UNCG several years ago, and he was so excited he got his first ball. And we were sitting there, and McCann and Jalen Davis came over and made a point to say hi to him and made my son's day. So, I mean, I like to try to see some of the guys. We had a couple guys come back. We have a couple freshmen that have some older brothers that played. They've been actually coming back and hanging out in the weight room. Coach Lippard really provides an open door policy. It's good to bring the community back.
The old players can come back and work out in the room a little bit too.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
Good,
We had a couple guys.
Good to have that access.
Absolutely. We had a couple guys come back. One of the guys came back and said he wanted to help out if you can work it in the schedule. So we've had some really good success. I know Coach Persley had some good success with some of the older guys, old players that came back, and I know Coach Lippard's really open to trying to build the program back up.
What did you learn from Coach Persley? What he installed in you?
More like, what didn't I learn? Coaching football and coaching basketball down at the middle school, you realize how important it is to be scripted on a lot of things. Coach Persley was very on top of using every minute possible. I mean, there was never a dull moment. With the period segment timers, and every 5 minutes we were doing something different, and he was really big about it. We didn't want to do a lot of drills with a lot of standing around time. And the more and more I coach, the more and more I realize, especially as I was coaching wide receivers down at the middle school, it's hard not to put them in a line of 15, 2 lines of 15 when you got everybody wants to be a wideout and you're just throwing balls to the right and left. There's a lot of standing around.
Oh, yeah, you hate that.
Yeah, and
you
there's
can
not
lose
much
kids' attention.
Absolutely. And I'm attention deficit in itself. So, it's really important. He really instilled in me importance of just a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff and how to really manage your time as best you possibly can. I think that made a huge difference.
And what are you learning so far? I know it's still early from Coach Lippard.
Coach Lippard, I'll be honest with you, he had talked to you earlier about the music, and sitting there at practice and walking around and watching them warm up and hearing them come out the music, I said, this is something totally new to me, but it really does change the atmosphere. And I looked at one of the coaches, I don't know if it was AC/DC or Metallica or somebody he had pumped on the radio, and I said, if you can't walk around here with a little extra pep in your step, you don't need to be out here. So it was really, really exciting to see that. One of the other things that Coach Lippard does, I think, is really, really cool and beneficial on time to speak on that is we have 2 water troughs located on both sides of the stadium, the practice field, and he's pretty much turned those off and put out 6-pack stations of the Gatorade water bottles. So to really utilize time, he don't want to take time. I'm not saying he's not giving kids water, but they're staying plenty hydrated. We've got a great training staff.
Saw that today.
Thanks to Murphy Wayner. One of our trainers was out today, and we even got them to step in and help us out. And really good about keeping them hydrated. But it really utilizes every possible minute and make it as productive as we possibly can be. So
you talked about the music, but I heard about last year with Coach Roscoe at Northern bringing out the music, and he was playing music during practice. I said, I guess that has come of age.
Yeah, it's totally changed. They joke. I give him a hard time when Coach Lippard came on board. I mean, and he asked me to be on here, and I said, it's hard to believe that when I was on Coach Persley's staff, I was one of the youngest people on staff, and they used to talk about Andy Griffith all the time, and I didn't know what he was talking about. Being from Pennsylvania, I just wasn't around me, and I was one of the young guys. And Coach Smith was with us, and we joked and cut up being the youngest guys. And I went from being the youngest to the oldest. Coach Lippert was joking while we were sitting over there about calling me the grandpa on staff. And
so you're one of the oldest coaches on
staff? Yeah, 40 years old. I said I'm one of the oldest guys on staff. So we're young, we're excited, and that's not just the players; it's the coaches as well. And I think the Northeast community is really excited.
That's a big thing, too, because the community in the past had always been big and behind that team.
Absolutely. And I can't tell you how many nights on a Friday night I stood back there and heard them throw the ball, and they're going to get it. Coach Lippert's going to be running the basketball on grass. I said, I was joking with him earlier. I said, you're going to hopefully we can score quick, get those 5-6 plays in, but I said, I hope I'm not grading 60, 70, 80 plays a night while he's running his 20, and hopefully we're winning. I don't care what I got to grade as long as we're winning.
Absolutely.
And build that tradition back. And
what's going to be the key to that defense, though, since you'll be on that side of the ball?
We got to stop the run. I mean, number one, we got to stop the run. And we
got to stop guys like C.J. Freeman, right?
Absolutely. Every time we turn around, even when I was coaching before, when we were coaching against Northern, whether it was Harris or I was joking and talking about when Keenan Allen was killing us. We were playing Northern at Northeast years ago, and we got up in the third quarter. Yeah. And one of the big reasons when we went back and looked at the tape was Keenan Allen was cramping up.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen came in the fourth quarter, returned a punt on us, and it totally changed the ball game.
Yeah, Coach Percy still talks about, I think, the fact we should have just kicked the ball out of bounds.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's easy to say some of these kids, we're not as directional, but I think, like you were saying, I said stop the run, but number one is or real close, number one, like 1A is we got to stop the big plays. We can't let the big plays happen.
As I told you today, that's the key to 7-on-7. So it's all about the big play. Mm-hmm. Quarterback those long bomb, defender picks off the big pass, big play, 7-on-7.
Yeah, and the 7-on-7s are getting real tough for me because so many teams are playing 8 now. We're playing 8 players.
I saw 8 last night, and I saw maybe 9, but some of these guys are just standing still. But, I mean, I started seeing more than 7 out there.
We're playing 8, with the stack we're playing 8, but 7-on-7 rules are you got to drop one of those. Mm-hmm. Now, depending on who it is, they got to take a knee, whether it's pre-snap, post-snap, and it gets – now, if you got a quarterback that can read it, especially if we're dropping a linebacker, we've got a huge hole over the middle. I was talking to my guys today, and they were getting frustrated. I said, guys, you can't be frustrated because we're going to have that extra guy in coverage. We're going to have that pass rush up front, and we're going to be able to take away that. When the quarterbacks are reading pre-snap, that the left linebacker is taking a knee, and they know they can go. Our left, they can go to the right. It's sitting in that hole, and they can just drop receivers in there all day long.
How many guys in your linebacking group? I know a lot of coaches sometimes, they maybe have a small group of guys, but it's always like the coach and his guys, that's the big thing in these practices. How many guys in your linebacking group you coaching with?
How many guys am I coaching with?
No, how many players you got in your linebacker group?
Oh, well, started out with low numbers. I think we're probably about with varsity, we're probably sitting at about 6 with my group. Now, we do a lot of group work, like with Coach Marsh and I. We'll get together and do some inside stunts.
The line together.
The D-line, and then I'll get with Coach Blemming, and we'll get together and we'll do some. We're going to be doing some. He's got the outside linebacker, so we'll work on our outside stunts. But earlier in the year, before we got full staff, I was coaching inside and outside, and it's really tough when you're coaching 5 guys at one time. It was different when we were coaching 4, 2 inside, 2 outside made it a little difficult. But I like the more and more people to coach, the more and more you get to know the defense, and that's important to make sure we're all on the same page. That's a big thing. I'm talking to my inside linebackers. We got to do a lot more talking and letting them know who's coming across the middle, which is going to help out the next guy if we're in zone. I mean, if we're in man, that's man on man. I mean, that's going to be a pretty easy decision to make. But
what are your expectations for this season? What are you expecting?
Oh, playoffs. Yeah. I want to get back. I want to get back in the postseason. Nothing better than playing Friday night. And Coach Persley used to say this, and this goes back to my days in high school. There was nothing better than practicing on Thanksgiving morning.
Always. Yeah.
Nothing better, because if you're practicing on Thanksgiving morning, no matter as a player, I was like, man, I got to get to practice on Thanksgiving. But deep down, you look at it, there's a reason why you're practicing on Thanksgiving. That's because you're in the playoffs.
One of few, yeah.
Yep. In Pennsylvania, it was the same thing. Thursday nights, if we did Thursday mornings, we knew we were going to playoffs. And the regional championships they had were at Heinz Field. Well, back when I played, it was at Three River Stadium. And we had the opportunity to play there twice my junior and senior year, which is fantastic to know that I got to see, as Coach Lippert was saying earlier, I got to see where the steel curtain played and the, get to see Mel Blunt and those guys run around like crazy. I mean, it hit people. I mean, the speed, and it was unbelievable. But to look around in that stadium and know how much history was made, and the same thing now with the Steelers playing. They play the regional games at Heinz Field, and Pitt plays there. It's a great thing.
What position did you play?
My high school years, I played defensive end. We played a true 50 front, and I played outside line, tight end on offense. And then I played at a Division III school in West Virginia, Bethany. I played tight end my freshman year, and then we did a little JV ball, and I played both ways. And my coach moved me back to defense, which was my side of the ball. I'm more of a defensive guy. I like to get my hands on stuff as opposed to not be able to get a good grip on it. But yeah, I played outside linebacker in college.
Give us your last name again, because I got to learn that.
Avolio.
Avolio. Spell it for us.
Avolio.
Avolio.
If I do it like my aunt just taught my 4-year-old how to spell it, it's Avolio. So my son's 4-year-olds learned how to spell that now. So yeah, and I've been down at the middle school since 2000. Coach Link's been helping me out for several years down there, and we try to do whatever we can at the middle school basketball to build up the high school program for Coach Hunter, and I was there for Coach Beast a little bit too as well. So
that's good stuff.
Try to help them out. And like I said, I'm not about rebuilding. I'm about reloading. Let's be ready to go.
Absolutely. You got some good basketball kids.
You got the man Donald Moore over there. Donald and I go way back to back in the days for the old grandstand at Bat Stadium.
Is that right? Didn't know there was a connection there.
Yeah,
that's all right.
I worked several years for Bill Blackwell. I was real good friends with Bill Lee.
Oh yeah.
And he got me a choice. How would you like to play? Come work and watch baseball. And I said, get paid to watch baseball? This is a great gig. So I worked at the old stadium there, and then I moved over to the new stadium with the other Donald Moore.
So you were over there, huh?
Yes, sir. I was there for the first 4 years.
Was that why you were teaching and doing that part-time?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You do that like at night then?
Absolutely.
To kind of add to supplement the family income.
Exactly. A little extra money for that teaching education, right?
You worked hard.
But yeah, it was great. I love being around sports. I love watching the opportunity to get out there and watch anything, whether it's minor league baseball, pro baseball, whatever. I had a bet with one of the guys. It's kind of funny that I'm sitting here at Shane's tonight. Troy Leach is a good friend of mine, and Troy and I had an ongoing.
So you know Troy too, man.
Oh, absolutely.
We should have just told Coach Lippert and Coach Suggs to stay home. Just turn the show over.
That's right. Yeah,
so you know Troy. That's great.
Troy and his brother Ryan and Mike. We go way back. We lived in the same apartment complex together, and Troy and I actually had an ongoing bet. I told him, I said, I'm not cashing in on Shane's wings. He's a diehard Cardinals fan.
Oh yeah, St. Louis. Their dad, Big Mike, same thing. Big Mike.
And I'm a huge Pirate fan, and we just took that series with him, throw that out at him. So wow. that was a big ordeal. Now to see the Pirates successful.
What's your favorite meal at Shane's?
Oh man, they actually catered my rehearsal dinners. That's a tough question. I mean, the ribs are fantastic. You can't go wrong with the Shack sampler. Right. You get a little bit of everything. So, and their tenders are fantastic. I mean, they do a great thing. They actually, for the last 7 years, we've we do a pink basketball game where we raise money for breast cancer.
I remember that.
And this last year we raised $3,333, and since we started at day one, Shane's has been with us all the way. They've given us gift cards, and we use that to raffle to raise money. So this is a great place. And they do great things here.
So you know Troy, and you knew Ryan, you know Big Mike, knew the whole family.
I knew them all.
How about Paul? Do you know Paul?
Yeah, I know Paul. We give Paul a hard time.
That's all right. Yeah.
We joked that back in the day they gave him the Alpha Shanes when it was over on Wetover Terrace.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, we're on Westover. It was over on Wendover, by Costco. But
we know the inside and out.
Oh yeah. They do a fantastic job here.
Did you ever know this? Let me give you one more name. I gotta let you get rolling.
Sure.
Did you ever know the name Mezie Uzuchukwu?
Absolutely. Mezie. It's so funny you say that. I was just talking the other day. Well, one of my assistants was a retired fireman, Larry Cockman. He had helped me out, and he could never say, it was Chimezie Uzuchukwu, and he said, "What's that kid's name?" Y'all, Mezie played for me for 2 years in middle school.
Wow.
And probably he probably holds, in all honesty, he probably holds the scoring record in middle school for as long as I've been in there. But I remember he scored 47 points in one game down at we played at Mendenhall several years ago. Oh, they were 6 minutes.
I
We
was
went
going to say 6
overtime.
times 4, 24.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, he lit it up.
You did get to go overtime.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
47 points for a middle school
Yes,
kid.
sir. He lit it up at Mendenhall one year. It was, I mean, fantastic, like double, triple overtime. And, yeah, he's a heck of a player. And it was good to see him playing at Upstate. And I was actually ran into him a couple times. I think he's working for Pepsi now.
Is he really?
Kendall Bratcher's working there, too. And I had an opportunity to coach Kendall as well.
Sure
yeah.
do.
Yeah.
I tell you, you've done a good job.
And we appreciate it. We appreciate what
Coach
you guys
Avolio,
do.
right?
Yes, sir. You got it.
What's the first name?
Brian.
Brian
Try to make
Avolio.
it easy. I was actually, believe it or not, I was named after Brian Piccolo. My mother named me after Brian Piccolo.
Man, you've got so many dots. We could have you back again to tell some more.
Absolutely.
Talk about more.
Anytime.
Good
Anytime.
stuff.
We appreciate you supporting Northeast.
Oh, yeah. Keep up the good work. And so you worked with Donna Moore, you worked with Bill Lee and Bill Blackwell, all those guys.
Absolutely. I've been down here since '97. So
You've done a lot in a short amount of time.
Oh, yeah. I try to get involved. I'm probably going to get sucked in here in a little bit. A friend of mine's a volunteer coordinator for the Wyndham Championship, too. So
Who's that now?
Dare London. She actually teaches with me at Northeast Guilford.
Gotcha.
Yep. So that's a good thing. I enjoy sports, and I love being here. And I'm excited about the coaches clinic this week. Gets me another pass to go to some football games this year. Get to go. We're already made plans to get on to Duke and see Pitt play when they come down here this year. So, yep, keep us busy.
Brian Avolio.
You got it. Nailed it.
Coach.
Thank you, Andy. Appreciate it. Take care.
Keep up the good work. That's going to do it for Shane's on this Thursday. Brian Avolio, Coach Jason Lippard, and Coach Suggs with us tonight. Man, good guys, good group. And Don, your old buddy there, Mr. Avolio, coming through for us. That'll do it for Shane's. We'll be back, I think, in a couple of weeks. Another stop at Shane's Rib Shack. Did not have Chelsea tonight, but I'm sure we'll have a good report coming out of Shane's. Check out the wings. I think we're going to get the boneless wings to eat tonight. Always great food. Thanks to Phil Weaver, Ethan Albright stopped by earlier. Football in Focus, Shane's Rib Shack. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you soon.